Hello and welcome to my AEP 858 personal introduction. My name is Keith Bailey. I'm currently living in Colombia in South America, working on my teaching license and my master's in education with Fort Hays State University. So, getting to some personal demographics about myself. Like I said, I'm currently living in Colombia. We live just outside of Medellin. I live with my wife and my stepson. Here in Colombia, I'm teaching English to adult learners primarily, as well as working with students of all ages around the world, teaching online. Prior to moving to Colombia, I worked for over 20 years in the nonprofit and social service industry, for the most part, in the city of Philadelphia, but across the state of Pennsylvania. In my former career, I focused on developing, implementing, and managing youth development programs, education programs, and workforce development programs. Ranging from after-school programs, working with elementary and middle school students, to in 2010, I had 840 high school students working in summer jobs one summer. It was a hectic summer. Still learning Spanish, but my language skills have improved greatly living in a Spanish-speaking country. And as I mentioned in the beginning, in the future, I'm working on getting my teaching license through an alternative licensing pathway, looking at international school opportunities, looking at opportunities back in the States as well, and working on getting my master's in education with Fort Hays with a focus on teaching English to speakers of other languages. My wife is also in the process of changing careers, working in the aviation industry to looking at getting into education as well. One of the things I think is important to talk about is how the pandemic has impacted schools and education. Although I work primarily in adult education and focused on language learners, all of my work for the last 10 months has moved online. Looking at returning to normal situations, I think is going to take a little bit of time. When talking about Colombia, things are a challenge there as well with how things have been progressing with the virus and the uncertainty, and even just with how education in schools, they've been using hybrid models as well. A little bit more about personal demographics. My free time, I've practiced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the last 10 years. Obviously not so much this year. And I'm hoping to learn scuba diving once the quarantine ends and things return back to normal. One of the goals that we have for the future is to look at possibility of living in the South Pacific. So looking at critical examination and critical thinking around data and data analysis, although I'm not currently working in a K-12 academic setting, my student teaching experience for my Florida state license will begin later this semester. But one of the companies I work for in Colombia as an English teacher uses qualitative data, primarily looking at student surveys and focus groups to support decisions regarding instructional techniques and online platforms that are used for testing, class delivery, as well as online curriculum. While this business attempts to ensure that data is being used to inform instructional decisions, my experience is that as a private company, profit tends to be the ultimate driving factor, and they use data primarily from a fiscal perspective than any other perspective. Looking at critique of my own personal knowledge of how to use data to inform instructional decisions, I try to use data to inform my decisions about instruction as well as overall program design. In my past experience as a nonprofit director, I utilized data to look at program outcomes compared to the funding providers' benchmarks, worked with my team to ensure our program design and supports provided participants with skills that they needed to achieve the desired outcomes. As a teacher, as a future teacher, I try to do the same both in my existing classrooms and my future classrooms with lesson planning, and really do that with no hesitation to scrap an idea or a task if through analyzing the data I see that it's not been effective. So I'm hoping to learn more about the process and how to analyze and use data to inform instruction through this course, and looking forward to learning more. Thanks.